Thank you for joining us today in Jennifer Schaus and Associates complimentary webinar series. We're coming to you live from Washington, D.C. today. This year on Fridays, we're covering procurement playbooks. We take a deep dive into doing business with federal agencies and departments with our panelists. All right. On Wednesdays at 12 p.m. Eastern, we cover the FAR supplements or procurement regulations for the agencies and departments. Fridays, we cover the business development and marketing aspects of the same agency and departments. The full schedule, sign-up links, and recordings are on our website. And as you can see here, we've covered several of the FAR supplements already. We only have one left next week with the Department of Veterans Affairs. And then on Fridays, like I said, we cover the same agency or department in our playbook series. So here's just a look at our playbook schedule. Again, the last one is next week. And please join us for our specialty webinar series covering executive orders, House and Senate committees, and how they impact federal contractors. These are complimentary webinars and will be recorded. Registration links are within the slides and they'll be sent out to you after today's webinar. And don't miss, we've added another procurement playbook webinar, this time not on a Friday, doing business with NSA. This will be Tuesday, August 30th at 12 p.m. Eastern. This will be a live webinar only and will not be recorded, and we won't have the slides available afterwards. So don't miss this rare opportunity to participate. And the government speaker will be taking audience questions during this webinar. So definitely an awesome opportunity. We really hope that you can join us. And please join us for a special webinar covering cybersecurity compliance and enforcement. Our friends at Arnold & Porter LLP will be presenting in this complimentary webinar. And this will be on September 30th. That's a Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern. You can find details on our website. And then please note that this fall, we will be starting our subcontracting opportunities webinar. We'll be looking at subcontracting in all the different government departments. These webinars will be on Wednesdays at 12 p.m. Eastern, and they begin September 7th with the Department of Agriculture. Again, you can find the registration links and full schedule on our website under the subcontracting tab. And now we'd like to thank our sponsors who help make this webinar series possible. First, we'd like to thank the Virginia PTAC. Virginia PTAC is based out of GMU in Fairfax and offers free one-on-one counseling to firms in Virginia on federal, state, and local procurement topics. Online resources and group trainings are free with no restriction on business location. If you're interested in learning more, please use the links provided to explore what PTACs can offer. Next, we'd like to thank the Federal Business Council. The FBC creates and manages virtual and in-person meetings and events to connect industry and government thought leaders, product providers, and solutions with government programs that use them. The FBC works with a variety of federal agencies to connect government and industry in the form of in-person and virtual conferences, training events, policy dialogue, and outreach. Over the last 40+ years, FBC has become a comprehensive resource for connecting industry and the federal government. Next, we'd like to thank Dastin. Dastin is an IT and cloud solutions provider working with corporations, the military, and government agencies to lower their costs, increase scalability, improve operational efficiency, and meet compliance regulations using targeted cloud-based solutions. Dastin is a certified partner of Oracle NetSuite, a premier tier Google Cloud partner, and certified partner of Cisco, Virtue, AO Docs, and Authenticate. For more information about Dastin services or to schedule a complimentary consultation, please email Joe Alston. His contact information is there on the screen. Next, we'd like to thank C3. C3 ISIT develops tailor-made technology solutions that increase efficiency, bolster productivity, and improve business processes. C3 is the leading provider of managed IT services as well as compliant cybersecurity solutions for federal contractors. C3 works with defense contractors to achieve and maintain CMMC 2.0, DFARS, and NIST 800-171. Contact C3 to learn more about the CMMC 2.0 Readiness Program. Again, that contact information is on your screen now. Next, we'd like to thank RLJ Financial. Founded in 2008, RLJ Financial Consultants is a customer-focused, quality-driven, minority and locally owned provider of commercial insurance brokerage services. Their services are designed to maximize your return on investment and managing the risk to your business. Call Roderick today at 202-832-1417 for a free consultation and insurance quote. And lastly, we'd like to thank the PubK Group. The PubK Group publishes news and insights for government contractors, agencies, and counsel. Every day, PubK delivers news on bid protests, contract disputes, new laws and regulations, cybersecurity requirements, False Claims Act activity, and developments in mergers and acquisitions in the GovCon community. In daily news briefs and in-depth conversations and podcasts and webinars, PubK leverages its deep bench of government contract experts to keep you up to date on fast-changing government rules and expectations. And every January, PubK presents its week-long annual review featuring more than 50 GovCon experts across a dozen panels, recapping the year's top developments. Participation and CLEs are free to subscribers. Visit PubK online at www.pubkgroup.com. All right, and today we will be covering doing business with the Department of Transportation. And with us today, we have Mr. Leonardo San Roman from the Department of Transportation. Thank you for being with us. And then we also have our representative from GovSpend. We have Ms. Layla Salim with us this week. Thank you for being with us. And now I'm going to turn it over to Layla. Layla, just let me know when you're ready for the next slide. I'll put myself on mute.
Thank you so much, Madeline. Nice to be here, and thanks to Jennifer as well. Good afternoon, everyone. My name's Leela Salim, and I'm the Relationship Management Team Lead for the Federal Division at Fedmine, a GovSpend company. Thank you to Jennifer for including me in today's Playbook series. Glad to be here for the session on Department of Transportation. Next slide, please. Fedmine is a business intelligence platform that integrates from 18 federal data sets into one easy-to-use tool, allowing reporting and analysis not previously possible. We are now part of GovSpend, the largest provider of data on the state, local, and educational market. Next slide, please. Okay, first off, we're going to start with Department of Transportation's mission. Their mission is to deliver the world's leading transportation system, serving the American people and economy through the safe, efficient, sustainable, and equitable movement of people and goods. Next slide. Okay, so first, we're going to talk about the contracts that have been awarded in fiscal 21. The DOT awarded $7.76 billion in contracts to 3,884 companies. Looking at the various bureaus within the DOT, the top in fiscal 21 were FAA, Maritime, and Federal Highway Administration. The top prime contractors were Harris, Lockheed, and Leidos. Next slide. Of the top contracts awarded, the top NAICS are reflective of the bureaus, making the purchases with engineering services, shipbuilding, and highway, street, and bridge construction as the top three. Next slide, please. Small business is 33% of the contracts that were awarded. Have a look at the way purchases are made by set aside. 582 million of those awards were small business set aside. Of those, the top companies include LS Technologies and Carson Solutions. Okay, next slide. We're going to look at the spend by NAICS for these small business contracts. They're pretty similar to what we saw under the total spend, but highway construction has moved up, and a new third NAICS is computer-related services. So it's always really important just to know the top spending and how that money's going by industry so you can kind of make your target there. Okay, next slide. Next, we're going to look at the spending on SBIRs and STTRs. 13.81 million was awarded to 55 companies in fiscal 21 by utilizing these programs. SBIR and STTR enable small businesses to explore their technical potential and provide the incentive to profit from its commercialization. It's always great to see an agency utilizing these initiatives. Next slide is looking at the categories. This is something that we always recommend using when you're trying to make your agency plan, looking at that category spending. So looking at the top categories, it's really important to understand how the agency is buying, especially in terms of small versus other than small business. Next, we're going to look at the top vehicles that are being used at the DOT. You can also use keywords within FedMine, especially to see how other vehicles are being used within your industry. Here it looks like in fiscal 21, eFast was by far the main vehicle being used. This is for FAA, and then NASA SUP 5. Next, we can also review the subcontracts that are being reported. We get this data in FedMine from USA Spending, and it's a very unique capability to our platform, making that connection from the prime contractor to the subcontractor at the task order level. So the top prime here for subcontracting is SAIC. Next, looking at the opportunities, especially as you're planning the future. So this is really good to focus on new opportunities. These include new initiatives, looking at the agency's need and what they have funded, as well as reviewing their expiring contracts that will possibly be recompeted. How to get this information? You can review the agency's budget and program information. Look at sam.gov for those pre-solicitations and sources sought notices. Those are like the starting iterations of a procurement. Also check out the expiring contracts. So you can create searches and alerts that will notify you when contracts are awarded in your capabilities that when they're expiring, so you can kind of plan that runway for the future. All right, next slide. Speaking of those expiring contracts, you can break that data into small business and other than small business. For other than small business in fiscal 21 for DOT, 1.55 billion, what that was awarded is expiring in the next 12 months. Next slide. You can now see the top incumbents that have those expiring contract. One strategy would be to form relationships with those companies for teaming and subcontracting opportunities. Next, we'll look at the small businesses. So 1.14 billion is expiring as a small business contract at DOT within the next 12 months. You definitely want to pay attention to the set-asides used, as also the top industries here. The results will definitely change if you add on your keywords. All of this can be done very easily within FedMine. Next slide. The most successful companies are constantly tracking and working on creating the relationships, really knowing who are the top performers for partnering, looking at the top contracting offices, how are they awarding, what vehicles are being used, and so forth. This gives you that insight and intelligence on what you want to do to plan to be successful. Okay, our next slide is going to look at the current pre-solicitations and sources sought from the DOT. You can easily in FedMine add these to your pipeline and prepare for when they become procurement opportunities. Our last slide here for me today, I've linked the DOT budget information along with key funding opportunities link, as well as a breakdown of the infrastructure grants program. This would be something to pay attention to as the infrastructure bill is set to provide $550 billion of new federal investments over the next 5 years. This will translate into so many opportunities for companies, especially those that specialize in areas as construction, engineering, transportation, energy, telecommunications, and environmental conservation. It's a really exciting time, I think, to be involved with working with the DOT. Feel free to email me if you guys have any questions. Thank you again so much for having me.
Thank you so much for being with us today. Now we're going to move on to the inside perspective from the government. So Leonardo, I'm going to give control over to you now. So hang on just a second. Okay, so go ahead and share your screen whenever you're ready.
Perfect. I also had to unmute my microphone, right? I was just talking and my microphone was muted. My apologies for that. Can you see my screen?
Yes, go ahead and put it in presentation mode and you're all set.
All right, perfect. And thank you so much for the invitation, Jennifer and the group for today's session. My name is Leonardo San Roman, and I am the manager of the Procurement Assistance Division in DOT's Office of Small and Disadvantaged Business Utilization, OSDBU. I'm very excited to be here today. I hope I get to provide some valuable information to all the attendees today, and I'm happy to take questions at the end of the presentation if there are any. First of all, I want to say that thanks to the FedMine group for that presentation. I'm glad to see all those numbers because actually the numbers that Leila provided today match with the numbers that I have in my slide deck. So I'm happy to see that I didn't have to make last minute changes. So the information was great. I appreciate it. Again, your presentation right before mine. So it was great timing. I just wanted to clarify 2 points from Leila's presentation, Leila. One on the SBIR slide. I just want to clarify to attendees that we have an SBIR program, but we don't have an STTR program. I just want to make sure that for those who are at this session today are aware of that. And then Leila, on the GWAC slide, the EFAST contract is only for FAA. It's not a government-wide vehicle per se, but I just want so only FAA can use it. So it's not an actual GWAC contract. All right, so I'm not gonna get into the DOT mission because Leila already did a great job when you went to her slides. I just wanted to highlight a couple of things. So the Department of Transportation has 10 operating administrations, and most of you have heard some of them is Federal Aviation, Federal Highway Administration, Federal Transit. But I have the next slide has a list of all the DOT operating administrations and hot links that you can go straight to their websites to learn more about their specific mission. So each operating administration has a different mission, and they have independent procurement authority. That means that you can sell your services directly to each of these operating administrations, except for example, if you have a DOT wide enterprise solution. For example, some of the IT contracts are for all DOT operating administrations. So when that's a situation, oftentimes either Federal Highway Administration through the Center for Excellence or the CIO will work on those contracts. Our boss is Shelby M. Scales. She's the OSDBU director, and she is part of the Secretary's executive team. And she's appointed by the president. So we were excited to have her on board. We've been able to do a lot of good things, especially on the equity side. She is part of the DOT Equity Task Force, and she has an active role ensuring that the department meets its small disadvantaged business goals as we move forward with the equity implementations throughout the department. Here's a list of all the DOT operating administrations, as I mentioned before. So DOT has 55,000 employees, and 45,000 of those are from Federal Aviation Administration. From a procurement standpoint, in FY 2021, we procured close to $7.7 billion, and out of that, close to 70% was procured by Federal Aviation Administration only. So it's close to $4.5 billion a year. So when you look for opportunities within the department, FAA is a great operating administration for you to look at, because they buy by far more than the other operating administrations. You can see here Federal Highway Administration too. I think Leila mentioned some of the top NIC codes that we have in the department for FY 2021. Highway bridge construction contracts are awarded under the Federal Highway Administration. They do close to $400 to $500 million a year. If you're a hub zone firm, FHWA, if you're a hub zone firm and you work in the highway bridge road construction, I suggest you look into FHWA, as they do more than 20 to 21% hub zone participation every year. So Federal Highway is divided in 3 different regions: Eastern, Central, and Western federal lands, and they are the ones who actually do all the contract for these highway bridge contract projects. At the bottom of the page, you'll see a link for the small business specialist. Each of these OAs has a small business specialist that helps not only small businesses to understand the DOT procurement process, but also helps program officers with market research. If an office is looking for services, they go straight to the small business specialist to look for sources for those services. And they also work very closely with our office and other market research efforts. They also, most of these small business specialists, they're the ones who post the sources sought in SAM.gov. So they should be, if you have any specific questions for any of these about any of these operating administrations, the small business specialist should be the first line of communication that you have with them. Of course, our office, our goal is to help you in that process as well. We're always happy to connect you with these small business specialists to make sure that you have a conversation about upcoming procurement opportunities and any other questions that you may have. I am not going through this chart in deep, because I think Leila did a good job, and overall to see explain how we did in FY 2021. But I just wanted to make sure that you learn that in FY 2021 we met all the socioeconomic goals, inclusive the hub zone goal. We were able to increase to close to $300 million in contract awards in FY 2021. We were excited about achievement, and we just recently received the scorecard from SBA, and we got an A rating again for 13 years. So we're looking forward to continue that trend in FY 22, which our goals went up considerably. So this is a breakdown by operating administration on how from the department standpoint. You see in the pie chart here, with $4.8 billion, FAA was the number 1 operating administration and contract actions in dollar awards. Second was followed by Federal Highway Administration. I think I mentioned about the highway bridge and road constructions, but also they do a lot of the IT contracts that we have for DOT-wide contracts. So, and in third position, we have the Maritime Administration with close to $800 million as well. Marat situation, they had a special appropriation from Congress. They received like $7.8 billion for the construction of new training vessels for the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy. So they had to um, contract out these services in the last 2-3 years. So that's why the spending levels for maritime administration went up so much to 759 million. Our 2022 goals, the government-wide goal is 23%. Hold on one second. It's 23%. The DOT goal is 34%. Sorry, I have this box here in the middle. All the other socioeconomic groups remain the same. They are statutory by nature. So the woman-owned small business is 5%, SDVOSB 3%, and Hobson 3%. I want to highlight something from this slide. As you know, through the administration's efforts to increase small disadvantaged business utilization across government, for the first time, the SDB goal increased from 5 to 11% in FY 2022. And our goal, of course, went up too as well. We had to negotiate with the SBA. It went from 5% to 20%. We knew it was going to be a stretch for us to try to get closer to achieve, but as of date, we are exceeding that 12%. And knock on wood, we're going to continue to work hard during this the last quarter of the fiscal year to ensure we stay on track, and then we meet that 20%. For FY 2023, I want to make sure that you guys know that the government-wide goal for SDB will increase to 12%. What's going to happen with federal agencies, we don't know at this point. We may need to negotiate again with SBA on the SDB goal, and that 20% may change either up or down. Sorry. This is the top 10 NICO for 2021, and I double checked these numbers. Then what Leila presented were very on top of, very spot on, were the same numbers that we had here. But it is important for you to take a look at these trends, because if we bought some engineering services in the past, there's gonna be a big chance that we're gonna be continue buying those services in the near future. So you need to look at this, and not only from a DOT perspective, but also I suggest that you look into these numbers from other federal agencies, so you can this is gonna help you on your marketing efforts to the federal government. Hold on. Sorry, I'm getting so many messages here. Procurement forecast. Leila mentioned this too in her during her presentation. This is a link to our FY 2022 procurement forecast. Two things I want to mention about this. First of all, DOT is one of the few federal agencies that maintains at least 2 years out on the procurement forecast data. So if you go to our website, you're going to be able to see FY 22, FY 23, and FY 24. The reason why we do this is just to help small businesses in long-term planning. If we have an opportunity, a contract that is expiring beyond the next 12 months, we want to make sure that small businesses are aware of those, so they can start putting together teaming arrangements. They need to look for other partners to work with on proposals for these opportunities. And second, something that we just did like a month ago, we used to have 2 separate procurement forecasts, one for DOT and one for FAA. Now we were able to combine both procurement forecasts in only one platform, and then you don't have to go to more than one location to look for FAA and DOT opportunities. So we are very excited about this. Now you don't just hopefully this is going to lessen the burden on small businesses trying to look for opportunities within the department. Okay, I'm not gonna go. We're running a little bit out of time here. I'm just, as it's Madeline, your name, the moderator. I'm gonna share this slide deck with you so you can share it with the group as well. But as Leila mentioned, the department received $500 billion in bill funding. It's gonna receive $500 billion in the next 5 years. Most of this funding will go to state DOTs and other fund recipients. However, we're going to get $1 billion a year for FAA to work on air traffic facility repairs. So if you are in the construction, uh, um, this is a great opportunity for you to look into, as we are pushing for more SDB and small business participation in FAA contract opportunities. Also, we may have some need for contract support. Probably it's going to be roughly between 115 to $200 million a year. So all those opportunities will be posted in our procurement forecast as we move forward in implementation of the bill of opportunities. Very, very quick. We have our Connections Marketplace webinars every month that we connect you with DOT operating administrations, prime contractors, and other organizations to help you get a better understanding of the federal marketplace, how to do business with the Department of Transportation, and how to look for opportunities. So if you're interested to participate in any of these sessions, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to send you more information about these activities. And last, want to touch upon on our small business transportation resource centers. We have 11 centers across the nation. So these organizations provide technical assistance to small businesses that want to do business with the DOT at the federal level, also at the state level. So these organizations help with the DBE certification process. Also, they assist you with business development, technical assistance, and they also help you with our bonding education program. Our bonding education program is an 8-week, it's a comprehensive 8-week training session that help small businesses in need of bonding or increase their bonding capacity to get an understanding on how to go from A to Z on getting bonded. So we connect small businesses with surety organizations. We help them in their accounting classes and help you to go to increase that bonding capacity or start with the process of getting bonded. This slide is have a list of all the DOSDBU team here. By any all means, feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions about DOT, you want to talk to any of our small business specialists, or you want to talk to the program office as well. If your firm is in any of the socioeconomic groups, we have an advocate for each of these socioeconomic categories, except the SDB-OSB that our rep just retired a month ago, and we're in the process of hiring a new person. So I'm happy. This is the end of my presentation, and what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna share my slide deck with Jennifer, and she's gonna be able to share that with you. I have other resources here to talk about the bill and the funding and specific breakdown by operating administration all the funding that is going to the states. I'll turn it back to you now.
All right, thank you so much, Leonardo, for such great information. As he said, his slide deck will be available after the presentation. We'll have that information for you within the next 24 hours, usually even sooner though. I'm gonna change back to my screen here. All right. And I just want to say thank you again to our panel. This Layla Salim for being with us. There's her contact information if you have any questions. And I know Leonardo just had his email up as well. There it is again. Should you have any more questions. And thank you everyone for attending today. Next week, we'll be digging into the FAR supplement and playbook on the Department of Veterans Affairs. This will be the last little segment in our series here from this year. So we really hope that you can join us. The registration links are on our website. So thank you everyone again for attending. Thank you to our panel. This concludes the webinar. Everyone have a great weekend. Thanks so much.
Thank you.